So it's been roughly about a week and a half since we've had any MMA fights except for what's on the local scene. So we're all kind of going through withdrawals. So we got a fight night coming up, UFC Fight Night 143. That is the Cejudo Dillashaw fight, or Dillashaw Cejudo fight, whatever you want to say. It's for the flyweight title.
Flyweight.
They're here.
Welcome to the Hook J Podcast.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
When it's all said and done, I know one thing that I can do. I can fight. I can give it, and I can take it.
You should have left me over on that other game that I'm from, that more ruthless game where we bounce heads off the canvas and drill them into the floor. You should have left me where I was.
The show starts now.
Flyweight title.
Well, I'm not sure if
It's the flyweight title.
If Cejudo wins, he should get the bantamweight, and if TJ wins, he should get the flyweight, right?
No, it's at flyweight.
Oh yeah, it is okay. That's
It's
right.
not a catchweight
That's
or anything.
right.
But I do think it would be interesting if, say, TJ misses weight. Fuck it, just make it for the bantamweight title, right? Because they're going to be.
Yeah, they're gonna be
heavier
at
than-
bantamweight and
Yeah.
fucking
might as
featherweight whenever they go in the
Might
fight.
as well
so.
do it anyway. So let's talk about the card in general. You have a lot of good fights. It's a good way to start the year off, especially after a drought of MMA here for a bit.
At least from the UFC.
Yeah, there's a lot of local shows, a lot of small promotions.
Yeah, after that Chris Cyborg fight and after that big John Jones fiasco of last month, we've gotten a good break away from the drama, a good break away from the fights. Everybody gets a reset, all because they could not get 233 headlined.
We'll skip around the card a little bit. We'll do the main card last, the headliner last. That's the one everyone wants to talk about, of course. So we got to keep you hooked on to the end. That's how the show works.
That's how bait works.
Yeah. So we got the early prelims that are on ESPN Plus. They're okay. The one name on there that I do recognize, and I'm like, I kind of really want to watch, is Dennis Bermudez.
Really, I'm kind of want to watch this welterweight fight with Jeff Neal and Bilal Muhammad.
Jeff Neal's good, but I would rather have Dennis. He's kind of the guy that you've known for a while, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'd like to see him back in action.
I want to see Jeff Neal what he's doing because his last time he fought, he was actually rather impressive, and I wanted to watch that fight anyways. He's the hometown guy, Jeff Neal. I want to watch the Jeff Neal fight versus Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah, but are you going to pay the $10 to get on ESPN Plus?
Highly considering it. It's $5 a month.
$5 a month? I thought it was 10.
No, it means in 1 year I've bought a pay-per-view.
Okay, so we have the Jeff Neal fight and the Dennis Bermudez fight as well on the ESPN Plus card. I do recommend watching the Bermudez fight. He's kind of a guy that you've watched for a while, and it's nice to see him back in the ring,
You could look at it from the other side of that and say it'd be nice to watch him try to get a win. If he's a vet,
Yeah.
you kind of want to watch him get a win. So I'm
And-
gonna watch the Jeff Neal fight. I'm not really turned on to the Dennis Bermudez fight right now.
Fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion on
To
fights.
my opinion, yes.
So let's move forward to the prelims, the ones that everybody's probably going to watch because it's on ESPN.
And another thing about Jeff Neal. No, it's fine. But anyways.
Yeah, I like the way you...
So moving on to the actual prelim card on the ESPN channel. So this is weird how they have it set up. They have the early prelims on ESPN Plus. Then they have the prelims on ESPN. Then for the main card, it says they go back to ESPN Plus.
So turn on your system, turn on ESPN Plus, watch it there, shut that off, watch it on regular TV, then turn it back on, log back in, and watch it on ESPN Plus.
If this is right, I mean, it could all be on ESPN Plus, and maybe they're just actually showing the prelim card on ESPN 2, not ESPN number 2, but ESPN TOO.
So
anything.
the prelim card, it's got a lot of good fights. It's a pretty decent card going into it. It's headlined by Donald Cerrone versus Alexander Hernandez, which
Alexander the Great Hernandez, he's on a tear right now, to be honest with you.
it's a pretty good. I like that fight. Cerrone took it on short notice.
There's two fights. There's the one I want to watch with Donald and Alexander, but I do want to watch Joanne Calderwood versus Ariane Lipsky.
It's good. I think that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, me too, because I like Calderwood. She's actually a pretty good fight.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to the women's flyweight bout between Calderwood and Lipsky.
Lipsky. It's going to be Lipsky. I think that's Lipsky.
Lipsky sounds
Ariane
better.
Lipsky, which I don't know anything about her, so that's one reason I want to watch somebody I do know.
Well, they don't
fight
even
somebody
have
I don't know.
They don't have a picture of her on the UFC site.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to the the Cowboy fight with Alex Hernandez, because Alex Hernandez is just he just likes to push forward. Alexander the Great Hernandez, he's a young kid. He's really good. He's got 2 wins right now.
He was a very
His last
impressive
fight-
win in Australia.
Yeah.
Was that his last fight? I think it was in Australia. It was pretty interesting to see him fight down there because I remember him like going balls to the wall last time he fought.
Well, he fought the
Oh, that was in Canada.
the Canadian dude with the porn stash, Oliver Alvin Mercier. Mercier, I don't know how to say that. And he fought Benil Dariush back in March. So both times he looked really good. He lit Dariush up first round, man.
Yeah, he won that one first round.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Okay.
that was a KO. It's gonna be interesting to see how them two match up because if Cerrone comes in and
Like he did with Perry.
yeah, like he did with Perry, where he's like 100% game, that's gonna be it. It depends on how Cerrone shows up because it's always like he'll win 3 or 4, and he'll fucking lose like 2, and then it just depends
I don't think
if
he
he's
just
there.
had so much going on at the time.
Yeah,
That's a very big possibility. I just think he had a whole lot going on at the time. He seems to be doing a lot better now that he's doing his own thing.
yeah, for sure. That's definitely playing a factor. Maybe he'll keep continuing to go on, but this is definitely. I see why they put this on ESPN, right? To bring people in to be like, oh, I want to watch that because these are 2 guys that aren't really going to back down from each other.
Cerrone especially.
Yeah,
And God, I hope Hernandez does not make Cerrone smile. Because if he makes Cerrone
don't
smile,
make him comfortable.
Yeah, because if he gets Cerrone smiling and Cerrone likes it in there against him, he's gonna get whooped. Every time Cerrone's happy, that person gets a 4-hit combo.
You can ask Matt Brown. Don't
You
high
can ask
five
Matt
him.
Brown, you can ask Rick Story.
The main event for the prelim. Right?
Prelim card, yes.
So then we go to the main card, which is on ESPN Plus, possibly just ESPN. I don't know how they're gonna do it. It's supposed to be on ESPN Plus.
It'll probably just be on ESPN Plus.
I think it's the most time we've ever seen Plus in a podcast, which is on ESPN Cross.
Yes.
The first fight is Glover Teixeira versus Carl Robertson.
Carl Robertson versus the aging dinosaur Glover Teixeira, who probably should not be fighting anymore.
So the first one fight on the card is
Glover Teixeira, however you want to say, whatever floats your boat, versus Carl Robertson. So now we get to watch a dinosaur walk in and fight a young buck, which I don't know if I really want to watch that fight. Glover is way past his prime. Kind of on a downstretch right now. I believe he's pushing into his 40s right now. And man, once a fighter gets past a certain age, you really don't want to see him take any more hits. I really think Glover is on his last leg here. I think he's got 2 losses in a row now.
I think it's just one. Lately it's been like he wins one, they lose one. It's like a 50-50 chance. He's looking for the win, though, is what he's looking
at
for.
205, you could be hit pretty hard by anybody and go down. You're almost at freaking heavyweight.
Well, he's took a lot of mean shots here lately.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes out. I don't see Glover being in the UFC too much longer. I think he's on his way out of his MMA career. About a year and a half ago, he wanted to do the last little run towards the title, but I didn't even think then he was going to get it. So, but it's an interesting way to start a card, start the main card. Put an older guy's got a little bit of recognition against the guy who's coming up.
Yep. Guy I've never even heard. Maybe I've heard him, I just don't recognize him.
And then we got Paige Van Zant versus Rachel Ostovich.
There's no R.
This is a interesting fight from even a story standpoint. This is kind of one that
But
they're
there's
gonna...
no story between them. The story's with Rachel solely outside of the ring.
Rachel and Paige, she's been through a little bit too. But it's like the main thing is they're going to promote Rachel because she had the domestic violence happen to her late last year.
And she is still fighting.
Yes. She decided to continue the fight and actually show up to this one after being brutalized by her then husband, who's not her husband anymore.
Yeah.
Which is good reason. But
the pictures of her are pretty bad. She did get pretty beat up. She had a broken orbital, I believe. or
No,
fractured orbital
no broken.
at first.
They thought
then,
it was.
Yeah, and that was the initial reason she got pulled from the fight. She went and got a second opinion. Doctor said, no, you're fine. It's just going to take a little time to heal up. So the fight's back on. The reason there's a bunch of controversy is not just because of the domestic violence case, is because there's also a fighter later on in the card who was charged with domestic abuse against a woman in his life then, which caused a big controversy. Like, how can you put somebody who's coming out of that on the same card on a main event with somebody who's been a perpetrator of this? So there's a lot of flack from that, but really don't want to delve into that. I just want to delve into the fight because all that drama you can look up everywhere else, and that's all people want to focus on. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the fact that Rachel, despite all that, is still going to go in there and fight Paige, who's coming off almost a year layoff because she broke her arm in her last fight. So she took some time off. She healed up, and then from all of her interviews, she's saying she's a lot more well-rounded. She took some time off and just kind of worked on her game instead of just going in there to brawl. So I'm really looking forward to see what she does.
Yeah, she took a little bit of time off because she did hurt herself. She hurt her arm in the last fight.
She rode on that bitch's head.
Yeah. And she did say she's coming back. She did say she looks a lot better in her mitt work. I've seen a couple little clips of her doing that. So you got Paige versus Rachel. Both of them coming off a loss. Paige is really looking forward. She's got 2 losses in a row. One to Michelle Watterson, one to Jessica Rose Clark. Rachel, she recently lost her last bout. She has a kind of a win-loss type of thing. If that were to continue, then you should probably bet your money on Rachel, just statistic-wise. But Paige, she said she was getting better. She said she was getting a lot more well-rounded as of recently. Her mitt work looks a lot better. I'm not sure about her grappling. I'm not sure where this fight's going to go.
Yeah, I really have no idea where this. That's why I want to watch this one, because if Paige is saying she got so much better in her downtime, then how much better did she get and where? Because she's not saying where, like what she focused on. That's what I'm looking at. And then Rachel, I don't know enough about. Honestly, I just do not know enough about her just from the 2 contender fights that I've seen, just to really put her up against Paige, because it's contender series, so you don't know what level of fighter that actually is. You could have 2 A-level fighters go in there and duke it out, but you don't know because they're at the same level. And then you put them up against top dogs in the in the division, and you're like, okay, they are really that good. It's like Stylebender. The first 2 or 3 people they put him up against, kind of just people that are fighting. Now that he's going into the deeper water where the top 10 are, we're going to see what kind of person he's made out of.
No, I think they're going to feed Stylebender like a bunch of people.
Anderson Silva?
That he could just go through and then, he's got a title shot, then hope he wins the title.
I want to talk about that.
So the next fight is, you want to skip a couple? No, let's see.
We got Dustin Ortiz and Joseph Benavidez. This looks like the battle of the hobbits.
They're both flyweights, both very small. It's going to be more technical than anything.
Ugly as hell. No, it's just because... No, Ortiz is actually pretty good. Ortiz is fast as hell, too. But the one after that, you got Yancy Medeiros versus Gregor Gillespie. Yancy Medeiros is... sometimes I get him confused with the other cowboy, Oliveira. But Yancy Medeiros is the
they look
Hawaiian.
similar.
Yeah, Yancy is the Hawaiian.
Yeah, that's the way I figured it out. One's Hawaiian, one's Brazilian or Argentinian.
Yeah.
Is it Argentinian?
I don't know.
One's the other cowboy.
He's from South America. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to say he's from one and have somebody...
No, he's from Argentina. No, Brazil.
All I know is he had a freaking grenade go off by his house not too long ago.
Yeah, which was fucking weird. Who's throwing grenades, bro?
It's Brazil. So... the co-main event is going to be Alan Crowder versus Greg Hardy. So Greg Hardy is the former NFL player. He's the one that's causing the big controversy with Rachel Ostovich right now due to his past and everything that he went through outside of the octagon and earlier in his life whenever he was a football player. But we don't know. I don't know enough about it. I don't care to know about it. It's in the past. We're moving forward. And I like Rachel's stance on it. She's like, I don't know the guy. What he did is what he did, and, second chances. Everybody gets second chances. So she's not holding it against him. I'm not holding it against him. And I'm going to stop dragging it out. There's no reason, okay? I'm getting over it. But I do want to see Greg Hardy fight Alan Crowder because Greg Hardy in the Contender Series just levels. he has just leveled his competition. So I'm wondering if anybody gets through him. He's a heavyweight. If anybody gets through the punches, how he does on the ground.
See, what I saw with Greg Hardy, because I've followed him since he made his debut, because it was kind of the big thing, like, oh, he's making his shot at MMA. I followed him, and what I've noticed is he's got a fairly decent striking game put together. It's mostly like boxing. That's what he kind of does. I don't think I've ever seen him throw a kick. I think his feet never come off the mat. I'm not 100% on that.
There's not many heavyweights that throw a kick. Not a low kick, not a head kick,
There's
not
a
a
few.
push kick,
There's
not
a
an axe
few.
kick, not a drop kick, not a kick at all.
But there's a few.
Yeah, there's not a lot, though.
There's a few. He mostly does his boxing, and he relies on his power. And what I've seen from his finishes and from his fights that he's won is that's all he's relying on. It's just his power. I'm not even sure he has a ground game. This is going to be one of those people that I predict that once he gets to a certain point where they're not feeding him people that have very small records, or they're bringing people in just to feed this guy, he's going to run into a problem where he's going to run into a wrestler. He's going to run into somebody who's got a little bit of ground game or high-level striking, and he's going to get floored. It's going to happen. He's got a lot to work on. He's one of the people that gave a massive push because he's got a name behind him. That's the reason he's on the main card. I don't like the guy already. He was a professional football player. He did go through his domestic violence thing, which is a reason why you're not liking him. But I don't like the fact that the UFC decides to push somebody just because he has a name. Which happens before. It'll happen again.
CM Punk.
It's one of those things that I can see a massive problem on the UFC side, because they're going to put all this shit behind Greg Hardy. They're going to put all this push behind him, and somebody out there is going to crow cop the shit out of him. Somebody out there is going to throw a fucking high kick and level him.
That or Francis is going to get him.
Francis is his worst fucking night. It would be an interesting fight.
It's his Nigerian nightmare.
It would be no, Usman is not fighting him.
Yeah. Usman.
But it's not gonna work out for him unless he decides to go, well, I'm gonna give it everything I have, because he made it to a professional level at a different sport. Being able to get to a professional level in football is a massive feat within itself.
Yeah, think about all the competition, man.
And to be able to go from that to MMA, that's a huge feat as well. And to be able to do this on a professional level, but there's levels to this shit, and I guarantee you they're pushing him through it a little faster than he's developing. And I'm 100% sure within the next 2 years, if they keep feeding him people, he's going to get caught, he's going to lose, and it's going to be in a fashion where he'll go, well, I'm done with the sport, because he's one of the people who, if something goes wrong, if he gets defeated mentally in any aspect,
You think so?
it's over for him. He's did it before. He did it with, they kicked him out of the NFL because he's got his disputes, right? But before that, when he had all the other problems with the domestic violence and things like that, he's been known to just give up on things. Like when he was in college, they were like, oh, you're going to play these positions. He wasn't good at them, so he just, whatever, went to the one that he found that he was good at and kept going from there. Whenever he's been given an obstacle, like especially, like even in his MMA fights, when someone were like to go take him down, he would do his best to get him up, but there's definitely one of the things where he's avoiding going to the ground. If you watch his training videos, he's all stand-up. He'll do a couple here and there where he does a wrestling drill, but it's not a very advanced wrestling. It's like, oh, it's a single-leg stuff. Keep moving. I guarantee you he's not one of the people to go, all right, let's spend 3 hours on the mat just rolling around.
Yeah, I guess. Man, I don't know enough about it. I mean, I want to see where it goes. I want to see what happens with it. I'm not particularly happy that he's the co-main event. More interesting things have happened. So we're going to move on to the main event with Henry Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw. And I'm really looking forward to Cejudo losing this one and them closing out the flyweight division and bringing in 165. Jacob?
You want to restart this one again? There'll be less bias.
No.
Fair enough. So if you don't know, this fight's taking place at flyweight for the flyweight championship, which, as you stated, is Henry Cejudo's division. He's the champion of it. TJ's coming down in order to fight him for the title. TJ has been deemed the title killer by himself, or the title
killer,
hunter, something like that. Something killer. I know that. And what he wants to do is take the title and shut down the division. Essentially, that's what he thinks he's going to do. I don't think it's going to happen. There's been a couple flyweights that have been talking like, oh, they haven't told us anything. Maybe they're keeping it secret. Who knows?
Or maybe they think they're good enough to bump him up to bantamweight.
Maybe, just maybe. There's been a couple that's been signed again to a couple flyweight fights, so maybe that's what it is before they shut it down. But anyway, TJ looks like he's training to be in the Mechanic 2 or the Machinist 2. He's very low in weight right now. A couple days ago, we posted a little video of him being at 137, which is 2 pounds heavier than he would normally weigh in at, and he looked like death. So I'm not even sure if he'll be able to make the weight. He says he can. At this point, it's one of those like Khabib, Tony Ferguson type things. Like I'm just wait till they say like, "Are you ready?" Then be like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll make my bets now." But it's gonna be hard.
You gonna make a on the call bet, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till they're in the cage and they're like, "Oh, we're ready to fight." Then I'll place my bets. It's like the Tony Ferguson Khabib type thing. Until that happens, I'm not placing my bet on those two.
I'm looking forward to this fight just because I want to see the demise of the flyweight division. Because I really want to see a 165 or a 160 division. If they have to take away flyweights, where the only real person you know out of it was the champ Henry Cejudo and Mighty Mouse when he was there, because if they just don't get enough draw, then okay, let's do it. I mean, you got a bunch of people that can't make weight at 155 and have trouble making 170, so put them in 160. That's my take on it.
It makes sense. I think everybody's kind of waiting for them to announce it. You know, everybody wants this. They've wanted it for a while, but it's just gonna have to wait and see.
Well, Cejudo exposed his weakness in his second fight with Mighty Mouse. Like, because Mighty Mouse, I'll say it 100 times, I think he won, but if you watch it, he hits him 1-2 and he circles out every time. And Cejudo can't really do much about it. TJ is a bigger guy, and if he applies that same caliber of fighting that Mighty Mouse did, he's going to have a lot more oomph to his hits. And we already know Cejudo can be laid out with a knee, because Mighty Mouse did that in their first fight. So it's going to be interesting to see how TJ takes fight footage and tries to apply it to his style, because he's a lot more methodical. He is the snake. You know, he plays the flute and he does a little dance. And he's really hypnotizing with his movements, and I understand it. But I want to see TJ win, just flat out. I don't think it'll be a 5-round fight.
I think it'll probably be a finish.
I believe so, too.
But here's a question for you. TJ has recently said that he's thinking about moving up 2 weight classes at this point, because flyweight he's going up to. He wants to move up to featherweight. He says he can take on Max Holloway.
I think Holloway pieces him up if that fight happens.
I think Holloway is
so accurate.
I think his conditioning and I think his pressure he puts on you would probably crack TJ just from the pressure alone. That's an interesting fight. I would want to see that fight if it came down to it. And
I want to see that fight now, and they're just mentioning it.
And I'm 100% sure that if they were like, Max, you want to fight tomorrow?
Yep, let's do it.
He'd be like, yeah, sure.
Let's do it. Fly me out.
Hell, I'm pretty sure if Cejudo or TJ couldn't make weight, he would probably fly or try to make the weight
Within 2 days.
Yeah,
man.
We almost made weight with.
The doctor shut it down though.
Khabib, he was only like 2 pounds away.
Yeah, the doctor shut that. Man, that would have been a good fight.
That'd been interesting.
If TJ actually goes through with a Holloway fight, that'll be one of the few times we get to see TJ just get pieced up.
Also, let's say he wins this fight, right? Decides to go up to featherweight to fight Max. If he were to win against Max, he'd be the first triple champ.
If.
Yes. It's a big if, But
I mean, he's got to make it to Cejudo first.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts going forward, but it seems like it's doable. Like it's kind of there, but not really.
Man, that fight intrigues me a lot, though.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the ones that we're going to be wondering about for a while. It's going to be interesting where TJ goes after this.
Yeah,
because there's nobody really in the bantamweight division that I see like dethroning him for a while. And
unless they put Dominic back in there and give it to him off a weird decision.
Another decision.
Yeah. We're talking about this Henry Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw fight, and I'm going to put my money on Dillashaw to win that one.
Yeah, I would say Dillashaw.
But that would wrap up the first ESPN Plus card that we have for the year, now that they're no longer on Fox, which sucks because I can't just turn on the TV and watch it. Now I got to go through ESPN or other outlets to watch the fight.
That's all we got for the UFC this week. We'll have a couple more on other events that are coming up that I want to cover. Bellator is definitely one that I want to talk about. I got some ideas, or really an opinion on the streaming, so we'll have a video on that. You have anything else?
An opinion on the streaming.
Yeah, MMA streaming.
MMA streaming, as in like a pay service.
Yes.
Like the Fight Pass, but live streaming?
The way that the MMA community is getting their MMA fix, like the way you can watch it, I have an opinion on who's going to win out on that in the future.
You're talking about like everybody going through a current carrier or their own subscription service. It's kind of like ESPN Plus and all that.
Similar. So we got some more videos coming out on different things. Trying to put more volume out. We'll have some videos not pertaining to MMA as well. We got some more videos coming up. You guys are going to like it, or you guys are going to hate it. You really got those two choices. Or you guys can just not pay attention to it. You got three really. Or not care.
No, I ain't got anything other than follow us on Twitter at HookedJP or at HookedJustin, where you can find all the latest stupid comments on MMA forums that Jacob likes to post.
Do you think I do it too much?
No.
Thanks, guys. I wouldn't say to like, share, and subscribe, but that would help. Bye.
Bye.
Who put a question mark at the end of the teleprompter?
Thank you for listening to the Hook J Podcast. Hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next episode.
Sometimes you've got to do what's right for you and not do what's right for everybody else.